Hey guys, Martin here. We're still here for the end of January, and you're going to be seeing the camera move a lot, and you're going to be hearing a lot of strange rubbing noises and a lot of meowing and purring and peeping from Mozzarella because she's really happy to see me right now for some reason. Come here. Come here. Oh, you want to say hello? You want to say hello? Oh, okay. Hello to you too. She's very happy to see me. So she's just in here with me while I film, and occasionally she'll rub against the tripod that's keeping the camera up, and she'll rub against the microphone stand, and she'll rub against me. You gonna say something? Oh, there we go. Okay. Last time I talked about recovery. I've talked about how it feels to recover from depression, and I got a lot of positive feedback for that, and I do appreciate it. I wanted to take the time to say that I do appreciate all the really kind things you had to say. I honestly expected to get a lot of negative feedback and a lot of feedback that questioned why I did it, but a lot of people understood, and a lot of people congratulated me, which is it means a lot. It really does. It means the world that you have been on this journey with me for as long as you have, and some of you may have just started watching these videos, and some of you may have been going through a very similar thing, and the fact that you took the time to acknowledge and, like I said, congratulate me for coming as far as I have, that meant the world. I mean, it's difficult to get through this, as you know, I'm sure, and it's difficult to get through it feeling like you're on your own, but you guys have never, well, you guys, for as long as I've known, have never let me feel that way. So I appreciate it. Thank you. This week, I wanted to talk about something that I experienced recently while going back and rewatching this series that I was in called Tome, of all things. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a Flash animated series that was created by my good friend Kerbifer, and it's based in an MMO. It's kind of like .hack or Sword Art Online, and I get to play sort of he's kind of the comic relief character, although he gets fleshed out a great deal as the series progresses. He's a fan favorite. He's a fan favorite character, and I credit a lot of that to Kerb's writing of him. But a lot of people also appreciate just how positive his attitude is in general, and the performance I give him is very upbeat and very I don't want to say charismatic, but it's very boisterous, and it's hard not to smile when you think about him or when you're watching him do his thing. He has his own catchphrases and his own theme song, and there's one scene in particular that's always meant the world to me. That's always meant something very significant to me for various reasons. And the thing with my character Nylock is he's always in character. He's always trying to be this hero character. He's always trying to be this knight in shining armor, which has positive and negative connotations these days. But in the traditional sense, he tries to be a knight in shining armor for people. He tries to be a very definitive force for good in people's lives. He tries to turn all the negative scenarios into a positive scenario, especially with his friends. He is always trying to be a hero for his friends, and there's a scene where he is confronted with a situation where he's not really sure how to be that character. He's not really sure how to approach the situation that his friend is in and make it positive, be their friend ultimately, because he's not used to dealing with serious situations where friendship is in danger, and he's used to fighting monsters, and he's used to going on quests and fighting for treasure and stuff, but he's not used to dealing with social issues that his friends are having. And there's a scene where he's been in character through the whole thing, and there's a scene where he breaks character and he becomes very serious, and the idea behind the scene, or when Kerb directed it, was for me to just be myself in the scene, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do as an actor. But it's also hard for me looking at the scene after it's been finished and realizing what the scene means, because Kerb can probably tell you more than I can, but I felt very strongly that it was Curb as my friend speaking to me about what I try to be for my friends, and how I always try to be, this very strong force for good for them, but I don't really know, I don't really take the time for myself, if that makes sense. But either way, it's been a while since I've seen the scene. I hate to say it, but that's what I've always taken away from it. And I've always had trouble watching it without crying, because it's a very significant and it's a very deeply meaningful scene, just for many reasons. Because it's my friend talking to me. It's Nylock as a character being very real, and it's emotional. It's a very emotional scene. Like I said, there are many layers to it. And I was describing this scene to somebody, and I realized while explaining it that for a long time I did feel like that guy. I did feel like the kind of person who tries really hard to be a force for good in not everybody's lives, but in the lives of his friends at the very least. I would just try and be a very, very positive. I would try and confront any negative thing they were going through and try and turn it into a positive, and make sure they knew that I was there for them and that I was their friend, and that I would do anything to make sure that they got through this okay. And since getting depressed, since becoming affected by that, I haven't felt that for a long time. I haven't felt that way for years. I've felt very disconnected from my friends, and I felt like I've been a very negative influence on them. I felt like it's going to sound very Yu-Gi-Oh right now, but all of the bonds of friendship that we had weakened, and some even disappeared completely, because I just separated myself from anything that seemed like it was a good thing in my life, because I felt like I didn't deserve it, And getting to this point in my life, where I've gone through a lot of the worst of depression, and I'm trying to improve, and I'm trying to heal, and I'm trying to fix what happened to me, because I did break. I won't lie. I felt very broken, and I'm trying to make reparations. I'm looking around, and I'm like, I haven't been a friend to people at all. People who I would spend hours of the day talking to, people I call my best friends, I'm a stranger to now. And I just was realizing that while describing this scene, and I'm just like, wow, I failed as a friend, and in Nylock's role, I failed as a hero, I guess. That sounds very pretentious, but it's true. It's how I feel. I failed my mission as a friend. I failed my ultimate goal, which was to make sure my friends all felt okay and felt like there was nothing to worry about. I always wanted that. I always wanted them to feel that way. I always wanted them to feel like there was nothing we couldn't do together, and that we all loved each other unconditionally. And that's very naive, but it's something I fought very hard for. And I lost that fight. I lost it many times over, just because I haven't spoken to so many of them, because I've been afraid of what they'd see in me. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I don't know if you've ever, if whatever you're going through in your life, it may not be depression. A lot of people who talk to me about this, they're not going through the exact same thing I am, and I acknowledge that, and that's fine. This isn't just for people who are going through exactly what I'm going through. I don't know if you've felt this. I don't know if you've gotten to a point where you've disconnected yourself from people you love, and people who love you, and realized that you sabotaged all of that just because you were afraid of affecting them negatively. If that makes sense. I felt it on a very wide scale recently. I mean, I felt it but it had been happening for a long time. There are so many people in my life that I've just let fall to the wayside because I didn't think either I deserved them, or because I thought that I was just going to hurt them, or because depression told me that it wasn't real. And it was real, and I'm thinking about it now, and I can remember just celebrating every moment with them, and I don't know if they're still even willing to talk to me. And I know a lot of them tell me they are, but it's going to be difficult. I guess ultimately I just wanted to talk about the fact that that's something that I realized, is that depression turned me from a hero into something else. I don't calling myself a hero is such nonsense, but when I say hero, I mean it in a relative sense. I mean somebody who just tries to do good, into somebody who just had a very strong desire to take that all away from me, which either indirectly or otherwise affected other people in a similar way. It's very destructive, and it's a liar, and it's an enemy, and it makes you into one. But it's not real. And I don't want to stop this episode without talking about the fact that your friends love you, and if they're able to understand, they will, and they will still love you through it. I'm sure there are those people who have seen what I'm going through, who I used to be very close with, who I have not really spoken to or given the time of day because I was afraid to or otherwise, who will still be there, and there are those who won't. But that isn't a reason to give up on you, and it isn't a reason to give up on friendship in general. Sounds very much like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship speech, I know. But you can't give up on your friends. The ones that you're going to have and the ones that you have right now. If they have decided that what you've gone through was damaging to the point that they don't want to know you anymore, that's awful. But it might be something you have to accept. It might be something I have to accept. I really hope I don't have to. But there will be more friends. I'm almost 34 years old, and I'm still making new friends because I'm just bad at keeping them, I guess, right now. But the option is always there to make friends. You may think that, well, my friend from childhood isn't around anymore. What am I supposed to do? I'm still making friends that I'm hoping will be around for a long time in my life, and that I will make time for, and I will do it right. And I'll do right by them. And I hope to be their friend 50 years from now. And maybe that's not an option for some of the others, but an awful thing happened, and I didn't control it very well, if I could at all. And that affected my friendships. And it probably will affect yours if you're going through something similar. But trust me, there are still friends out there. Maybe you've not even met them yet. But you'll have another chance. Either with the ones you have right now, the ones you had before, or the ones you're going to. And it's not worth giving up on the idea of being someone's friend. Because people ultimately are what get us through all this. Anyway, I just wanted to say all that. I'm glad Mozzarella's calmed down and hasn't been talking too much throughout this. She's just sat in the corner cleaning herself right now. But I wanted to say thanks very much for watching this one. I don't know if it was helpful. I hope it was. But that's the end of January in 2017, and next time I see you, it'll have been my birthday, and I'll be celebrating that with some new friends and hopefully some old friends as well. I'll catch you later.